in the stories we tell. If you liked the story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. My elder sister had passed away, so I entered the palace to become the successor empress. The emperor told me to choose one of the princes to raise under my name. When my finger pointed toward the two princes, I saw two intertwined segments of the future unfold before my eyes. If I chose the third prince, after he ascended the throne he would exterminate my entire family and have me stabbed to death. If I chose the ninth prince, after he ascended the throne he would fake my death, imprison me within the palace, and turn me into a despised demon consort. I pondered for a moment, then raised my hand and pointed at the little princess clinging to the doorframe, peeking inside. Your Majesty, this consort feels a stronger affinity with the 13th princess. The emperor, Jawan, who had once been my brother-in-law, was already over 30 yet still carried an elegant and dashing air. After my elder sister passed away, the great families all began to stir with their own schemes. Jawan weighed his options several times before ultimately deciding to select someone from my house to enter the palace and stabilize the court situation. I had just turned 18 when I entered the palace as the successor empress. On our wedding night in the bridal chamber, Jawan did not touch me, and I said nothing in return. We lay on the same bed and both drifted off to sleep. When I woke up, the two of us were still far apart on the bed, and I knew then that Jawan harbored no romantic feelings for me. I felt the same toward him, merely thinking that he had once been my brother-in-law, and recalling how my strong and intelligent elder sister had died so young in his harem. I could not summon any desire for him whatsoever. As soon as the sky brightened, Jawan put on his court robes. He adjusted his collar as he walked out. At the door, he paused slightly and told me that there were several princes in the palace without a mother consort, so I should turn around and raise one under my name. I replied respectfully, "Yes, Your Majesty." I knew he had no intention of letting me bear children of my own. The nanny who came to collect the handkerchief was somewhat surprised not to see the virgin blood. "Your ladyship, why is it like this?" I frowned lightly, my eyes turning cold and detached. "This is His Majesty's intention. His Majesty will let me choose one prince to raise as my own." The nanny let out a sigh, her face revealing a look of lament. "There are 3,000 beauties in the harem, but Jawan has a special someone in his heart. He dotes solely on Consort Lan. Everyone in the harem knows it. After Consort Lan entered the palace for 2 years, no more children were born within the palace. Instead, the various consorts and ladies died one after another. Consort Hui, noble lady Wen, booty Song, then my elder sister. After my elder sister passed away, my mother and I entered the palace to meet her. She was emaciated and frail. Her wrist, once as white as jade, had grown so thin that the gold bracelet could no longer stay on it and slid down to her palm. The garments draped over her body were loose and oversized. A single breeze could have blown her away. My mother burst into loud sobs, her heart filled with questions she dared not speak aloud. I lowered my gaze to conceal the hatred in my heart, leaving only a cold, desolate sorrow within. When my elder sister got married, I was only 6 years old. I stood outside the door with a smile at the corner of my eyes, but the moment I met the teasing looks from the crowd, I shyly turned my head and covered my face with a handkerchief. Jawan had been very kind that day as well. He walked over with ease, his eyes sparkling with brilliance, truly delighted to have married my elder sister. He slipped a 10,000 tael banknote into my hand, calling it a meeting gift for the little sister-in-law. It was the largest red packet I had ever received, and I still remember it vividly to this day. Whenever I recalled it, I felt happy. I had once thought that Jawan and my elder sister were truly in love. For 12 years, they treated each other with the respect of newlyweds. My elder sister was virtuous and kind. When Jawan was still a prince, the rear courtyard was harmonious. After Jawan ascended to become the emperor, my elder sister became the empress. With more concubines in the palace, my elder sister wielded both grace and authority, and the harem remained stable. That is, until Consort Lan entered the palace. Jawan suddenly discovered his true love and poured all his genuine affection onto Consort Lan. He began to grow cold toward the other consorts, ignoring palace rules and favoring Consort Lan exclusively, though he still retained some affection for my elder sister. My elder sister advised him to spread his favor evenly among the harem like rain and dew. Jawan's brows furrowed with fatigue, his expression irritated. He said, "The court has been stabilized, the harem is filled with heirs, and I have done everything I was supposed to. I just want to live for myself once. Can't I?" My elder sister said nothing. Doting solely on Consort Lan was one thing, but he should not let Consort Lan disrupt the peace of the entire harem. The reputation my elder sister had painstakingly built over many years crumbled overnight. My elder sister fell ill. The etiquette and cultivation she had always upheld, the order and stability in her heart, began to collapse frequently in the presence of Consort Lan and Zhao Wan. My mother visited the palace. My elder sister dismissed everyone around her and whispered, "Mother, what should I do? I fear he is following in the footsteps of the previous emperor's indulgence." The previous emperor excelled in both civil and military affairs, but in his middle age he became dissolute and immoral, deposing the crown prince and forcing the empress to her death, plunging the court into chaos. For 100 years afterward, his descendants busied themselves stabilizing the government, yet they could not turn the tide. In the end, they were swept away by the currents of history. Tears welled in the corners of my elder sister's eyes. She was truly heartbroken. She had once had the chance to become a wise empress alongside Zhao Wan, but now everything was gradually falling apart. She feared she would follow the same tragic path as the previous empress. My mother took hold of her wrist and told her not to overthink it, but first to take care of her health. After all, she still had the 13th princess, her own flesh and blood, to raise. For the child's sake, she must live well. My mother spoke with tears in her eyes, urging her solemnly again and again. These words held some private meaning, but the palace was not short of caver people, and someone overheard them. The words from that day reached Zhao Wan's ears. He punished my elder sister, reprimanded my father, and even forbade my mother from entering the palace in the future. From then on, my elder sister was isolated in the palace with no one to help her. Until her death, Zhao Wan claimed publicly that she had died of illness, but I did not believe it. My elder sister loved the 13th princess so dearly, she would not have willingly died. There must have been another reason behind her death. After Zhao Wan finished court, he led the two princes to me. One was the third prince, whose mother, Consort Hui, had reportedly taken her own life out of fear of punishment. The other was the 9th prince, whose mother, noble Lady Wen, had been sent to the cold palace after plotting against Consort Lan and died there. But I found it truly laughable. A mere noble lady, with higher ranks like beauty and noble consort above her. Even if she had truly harmed Consort Lan, she could not have been promoted to consort status. Why would she throw eggs against a stone by plotting against Consort Lan? More likely, she had offended Consort Lan, incurred Zhao Wan's disgust, and after being demoted to the cold palace, her life and death were left to others' whims. Zhao Wan looked at me indifferently, his finger casually pointing toward the two princes, his voice languid. "These two children. Which one do you want to raise?" I rose slowly and walked over to the two children. The third prince was 11 years old, and the 9th prince was younger. Both were already quite tall. I raised my hand, and the palace servants presented 2 sets of writing materials, the 4 treasures of the study. I smiled gently and said in a warm voice, "These are the meeting gifts from this palace to you both." The 2 children bowed in thanks. I reached out to support them, but the moment I touched them, I saw 2 chaotic, intertwined segments of the future. If I chose the third prince as my foster son, he would later ascend the throne and wipe out my maternal clan, then grant me death. If I chose the 9th prince, after he ascended the throne, he would fake my death, change my identity, and imprison me in the harem, turning me into a despised demon consort. For a moment I was stunned, my body swaying uncontrollably. The 2 children quickly steadied me and asked in unison, "Mother Empress, what is wrong with you?" My heart pounded wildly, but my face revealed nothing. I slowly sat down, lifted my teacup, and took a small sip. "I am fine. Let me think it over carefully." My heart felt somewhat complicated. First, neither of these 2 children was a good choice. Second, my ability seemed to have returned. Since childhood, I had possessed a power by touching others. I could see their futures. At 3 years old, the moment I saw the nanny, I burst into tears, saying, "Isn't she already dead? Why is she alive again?" My mother laughed in exasperation and told me not to speak casually of life and death. It was cursing others, and would make people dislike me. Later, on a rainy day while walking on the road, the nanny slipped and fell, her head striking a sharp corner. She died on the spot. After that, every time I saw my grandmother, I would flee in terror. Not long after, my grandmother died of illness. My mother began to fear me somewhat. She took me to the temple. It was said that children's eyes could see unclean things. She hoped the nuns in the temple could help exorcise the evil from me. I stayed in the temple for 3 years. Every day, the abbess of the Pure Heaven Nunnery would come and ask me, Ming, how do you feel today? I would shake my head. I could still see the abbess's future. A scene of the old nun sitting in meditation and passing away. I shook my head again. That was when I realized I could only see others' futures through physical contact. By the time I was 5 or 6, the ability gradually faded. Touching others no longer triggered any reaction. I returned home to attend my elder sister's wedding, and now, the power that had vanished suddenly returned. I raised my head to look at the 2 children and shook my head in refusal. Your Majesty, this consort has reconsidered. I would rather not. Zhao Wan frowned slightly. You dislike both the 3rd and the 9th. The 3rd prince and 9th prince both looked over. They had both lost their mother consorts and had nannies to care for them. They might not truly want me as their mother empress, they simply did not want to be disliked by me. I smiled gently. It is not like that. The 3rd prince and 9th prince are both outstanding in demeanor, and this consort likes them both very much. It is just that this consort is not much older than them in age. A grown son should keep a distance from his mother. It is proper for us to maintain some distance. Moreover, this consort feels her own knowledge is shallow and her experience insufficient. I have nothing to teach them. If I forced myself to keep them, it would only hinder their progress. I glanced toward the door. There, the 13th princess was clinging to the doorframe, poking her head in with a face full of curiosity. I raised my hand and pointed at her, saying warmly, Your Majesty, this consort feels a stronger affinity with the 13th princess. The 13th princess is still young and a daughter. This consort can teach her the things suitable for a girl. The 13th princess had her hair in 2 buns tied with red silk ribbons, her large eyes sparkling like water. I waved her over. She turned her head to look outside, where an old nanny stood. The old nanny's eyes were on her nose on her heart. She did not look inside at all. Receiving no secret signal, the 13th princess thought for a moment before stepping in and obediently paying her respects to me. Greetings to the Empress, Your Ladyship. She was my elder sister's daughter and carried her mother's grace. My heart stirred slightly. Suppressing the joy within, I slowly walked up to her, extended my hand and said, 13th princess, are you willing to let me be your mother? The 13th princess blinked at me for a while before gently placing her small hand in my palm. Her voice was soft and gentle. Empress, Your Ladyship, this child is willing. The moment her small hand touched my palm, I saw 2 segments of her future. In the first, she was crowned by the 3rd prince, and with a single sword strike, he ended her life. Before dying she cursed bitterly, You are ungrateful and disloyal, killing your mother and your consort. You will not meet a good end. In the second, she was dressed in wedding robes and escorted onto a carriage for a political marriage. She looked toward the 9th prince, who was wearing ordinary clothes befitting an emperor, and shouted a curse. You have acted against morality, treating your mother like a consort. You will face retribution. The only reply was the emperor's cold laughter and mockery. My heart trembled, and my eyes grew slightly hot. I thought I had chosen correctly. In both of those futures this child had stood by my side. The 13th princess looked up in confusion and reached out to touch my cheek. Mother Empress, what is wrong? I pulled her into my arms, her ink-black hair against me, a warm current rising in my heart. Mother Empress was just thinking that in the future there would be a good child like you, and I could not help but feel overjoyed. Zhao Wan was displeased with my choice. He frowned lightly, somewhat puzzled. If you want a younger child, there are still other princes. The court hopes for a legitimate son from the central palace. Since Zhao Wan did not want to have children with me, he had decisively foisted a child on me to silence the court officials and prevent Consort Lan from being scolded again as a demon consort. Because my elder sister had passed away, Consort Lan's reputation among the common people was very poor. Zhao Wan was truly calculating everything for Consort Lan. I lowered my eyes, my voice gentle yet firm. Your Majesty, this consort only wants the 13th princess. She is the daughter of my elder sister. Having one like her is enough for me. Zhao Wan's gaze darkened as he looked at me deeply, but in the end he said nothing more. He coldly led the 2 princes away. The 13th princess said softly, Mother Empress, Father Emperor is unhappy now. He does not like anyone mentioning mother. My heart suddenly tightened. Why? The 13th princess blinked, and tears welled up in the corners of her eyes. Mother was very ill, but Father Emperor summoned all the imperial physicians to treat Consort Lan instead. Father Emperor said Mother was faking illness. He reached out and pulled Mother, causing her to fall from the bed. She cried so heartbrokenly. The nanny who cared for her quickly supported the 13th princess and gently soothed her. Only after she had fallen asleep did the nanny quietly say to me. After Zhao Wan pulled my elder sister down from the bed, he saw rashes growing on her wrist. He was frightened. From then on, my elder sister became his taboo, and even the 13th princess was not treated well by him. My elder sister had guessed correctly after all. Zhao Wan was truly following in the footsteps of the previous emperor's indulgence. My elder sister had been by his side for 12 years, virtuous and kind without ever making a mistake, yet she still met such an end. A chill rose in my heart, and hatred spread through every limb and bone. Although my elder sister and I were not extremely close, we had always been warm to each other. Every time I visited the palace, she would gently stroke my hair and wish me a safe and smooth life ahead. Ming, with me backing you, you can live for yourself in the future. It was a pity she died so young at 30. I rewarded the nanny. You did very well bringing the 13th princess here today. From the beginning, I had no intention of choosing any of the princes Zhao Wan brought. An empress without favor, forced to raise a child not her own, and one already grown at that. Could not build any real affection. Being dragged into the struggle for the throne carried extremely high risks and vague benefits. This deal was not worthwhile no matter how one looked at it. I absolutely would not do it. That is why I had sent a palace maid from home to pass a message, hinting for the nanny to bring the 13th princess to my palace to play. The nanny was clever and understood with just a hint. Only then could I reunite with the 13th princess. I rubbed my increasingly aching temples and said calmly, "Tell me about Consort Lan." Consort Lan was the most arrogant and domineering person in the entire harem. In 2 years since entering the palace, she advanced 1 minor rank every 3 months and 1 major rank every 5 months. From a lowly talented lady she quickly climbed to her current position as Consort Lan. Originally, they even wanted to bestow her the title of Noble Consort Lan. But because my elder sister passed away, the promotion was halted. She had once complained that my elder sister had not died earlier or later, but right at this time. It was truly unlucky. That time, Zhao Wan rarely did not indulge her and instead darkened his face, harshly telling her to shut up. Consort Lan knew she was wrong. Zhao Wan sat silently in my elder sister's bedchamber for an entire night, while she waited outside for the whole night. When dawn came, Zhao Wan stepped out and saw Consort Lan still drowsy with sleep. He easily forgave her disrespectful behavior. He ordered my elder sister's bedchamber sealed off, allowing no one to enter. Not even the 13th princess was permitted to stay in her mother's palace. Zhao Wan did not say where the 13th princess would live, so the palace servants arranged for her to stay in a very small palace hall, sharing it with the nanny. If I had not entered the palace, this little princess born to the empress would likely have been completely forgotten by everyone. The nanny said awkwardly. When Consort Lan first entered the palace, she still showed respect to the empress, your ladyship. It was only after gaining his majesty's favor that she committed many offenses, all shielded by his majesty. So Consort Lan grew increasingly arrogant, to the point where, just because she ate something wrong and broke out in spots on her face, she summoned the entire Imperial Medical Bureau to wait outside her palace. She claimed it was my elder sister who had harmed her. Zhao Wan believed it and said my elder sister was seriously ill and needed the imperial physicians for treatment. In his heart, he grew even more disgusted, believing my elder sister was using lowly tricks to fight for favor. After 12 years together, he did not even trust his own principal wife. He listened to only one side and believed only one side, to the point of being utterly confused. He deserved to die. The 13th princess has moved in with me now. The other consorts and ladies came according to custom to pay respects to the empress, except for Consort Lan, who was special. Zhao Wan said she had worked hard serving him, and thus sent someone to exempt Consort Lan from the morning and evening greetings. He sent his chief eunuch, and right in front of everyone, slapped my face as empress, shattering my dignity. Zhao Wan and I had no feelings between us, yet it was still awkward. My elder sister, who had once had feelings for him, must have felt even worse. Ignoring the varied looks from everyone, I stood up and went to find Zhao Wan. Zhao Wan was in the Hall of Diligence. He summoned me inside. Between his brows hid some anger because, in his eyes, I had not obeyed. This matter he had already decided, I just needed to follow along. He did not want an empress scheming to control the harem. He only wanted an obedient puppet who knew her place and sat quietly in that position. Do not disturb him in Consort Lan. He believed that by not touching me on our wedding night, he had already made his attitude clear. Empress, what do you want? I lifted my skirts and performed a full kowtow. This consort voluntarily requests to step down to the position of consort. Please welcome Consort Lan to preside over the central palace and establish her as empress. I knelt silently on the ground. The surroundings were so quiet one could hear a pin drop. Only Zhao Wan's breathing gradually grew rapid, carrying a tense atmosphere like the calm before a storm. Song Ming, what nonsense are you spouting? This consort is not speaking nonsense. Your Majesty and Consort Lan share deep affection. This consort has heard rumors even outside the palace. This consort does not wish to stand between the two of you. I only hope your Majesty and Consort Lan can become a destined couple and be remembered as a beautiful tale. This consort is willing to step aside to the position of consort and regard Consort Lan as the honored one. Zhou Wan remained silent for a long time before asking, what do they say outside about me and Consort Lan? I did not answer, only lowering my eyes to the ground. Zhao Wan slowly walked up to me. Consort Lan can only be a consort. She cannot become an empress. I married you as the successor empress hoping you would manage the harem well and not cause me more troubles. I thought you understood. The harem can only have one person at the top, Zhou Wan said. If your Majesty wishes to establish Consort Lan as empress, this consort will certainly follow. I replied calmly. If your Majesty does not wish to establish her as empress, nor grant this consort the true authority of an empress, then this consort cannot manage the harem well. Rights and responsibilities must be clear for orders to be obeyed. If they are unclear, it only makes things difficult for those below. Your Majesty has not bestowed favor upon this consort, and this consort bears no resentment. But if you do not grant this consort power, it is no different from sending generals into battle without provisions. This consort dares not obey the decree. Consort Lan comes from the daughter of a mere 9th rank official. Thanks to her influence, her father has only risen to the 6th rank in 2 years, an already rare speed. If she became empress, the court officials from 6th rank and above who have daughters entering the palace would certainly not submit. Moreover, she carries the stigma of having caused my elder sister's death. If she became empress, my father would be the first to submit a memorial opposing it. My father has only 2 daughters, my elder sister and myself. My elder sister is gone. He will not allow me to be bullied any longer. After a long while, Zhou Wan said indifferently, you are more eloquent than your elder sister. Your elder sister respected me, and was willing to tolerate everything. This consort is shallow and only wants to live comfortably for herself. I replied calmly. The aura around Zhou Wan weakened, revealing a trace of sorrow. He knew I was right. My elder sister had loved him. He knew it clearly in his heart. It was just that he had gradually grown tired of that affection before, and only now, with her gone, did it become a regret. I will grant you the rights of an empress, but I hope you use them well and do not make things difficult for Consort Lan. If Consort Lan makes a mistake, can this consort punish her? I looked straight into Zhao Wan's eyes. I would not promise not to make things difficult for Consort Lan just because he had granted me power. Consort Lan and I were destined to be enemies. I would quietly kill her and make her die a miserable death. Zhou Wan's face darkened. He felt I was being somewhat unreasonable. Whether Consort Lan has erred or not, I will decide myself. If your Majesty has already decided that Consort Lan is truly at fault, then I hope your Majesty will handle it according to palace rules. Thank you, your Majesty. I stood up with difficulty, swaying once more. I fell forward in front of Zhou Wan. To steady myself, I instinctively grabbed his wrist. The moment I touched his skin, I saw countless images. He would die during a hunt. The 3rd prince and 9th prince would accompany him on the hunt. It was supposed to be a scene of fatherly love and filial piety. But the 3rd prince suddenly drew his bow and shot at him. He shouted angrily at the 3rd prince for disloyalty. Only the 9th prince offered to shield him, but the 9th prince smiled faintly, blocked his path, and stabbed him hard in the abdomen. He fell from his horse in disbelief, fresh blood gushing out and staining the grass red. I was dazed for a moment, horrified by what I had seen. Seeing that I had steadied myself, Zhou Wan frowned slightly and quietly took a step back. The corner of my lips curved slightly. I bowed lightly to him and turned to leave. My goal had been achieved. Before my ability returned, I had not wanted to meet him. After it returned, I had always wanted to see him once to view his future. He had sent someone to humiliate me, so I took the opportunity to meet him. If I could gain the rights of an empress, it would be good. If not, I could at least find a chance to touch him and see his future. Fortunately, I had attained the empress's rights, and I was very satisfied with his future as well. Outside the Hall of Diligence, the nanny was waiting for me with the 13th princess. Seeing me come out, the 13th princess threw herself into my arms. "Mother Empress, are you all right?" I bent down and picked her up. An 8-year-old little girl was already quite heavy, but I was very happy. In this deep palace, I had a true family member by my side. I held her as if embracing a bright future, filling my heart with vigor. I whispered in her ear, recounting today's events, and told her that this was called advancing by retreating. She widened her eyes. "Mother Empress, are you not afraid?" No. I had just entered the palace, and countless eyes were watching. This was the best time for me to make my demands. If I missed this opportunity, establishing rules later would be extremely difficult. "Little Jade, you must remember opportunities are fleeting. If you want something, you must decide decisively and seize it." The 13th princess pondered. Her small, tender hands wrapped around my neck, her little head resting against my neck as she said softly, "Mother used to be very brave too, but after Consort Lan arrived, Mother no longer dared to speak loudly to Father Emperor. Father Emperor made Mother apologize to Consort Lan. Mother refused, so Father Emperor locked her up. Mother Empress, in the future, little Jade also wants to be brave like you." I paused for a moment and said gently, "Your mother was actually always very brave. In this world, many people know how to protect themselves by keeping a low profile, but not everyone has the courage to face difficulties. Your mother is very admirable. She protected many people in this palace. You should feel proud of her." The 13th princess blinked, her eyes turning slightly red. After my elder sister passed away, although the 13th princess had been moved to a small palace, her meals and daily life were still cared for. Someone secretly brought her things, and others quietly protected her. When I met her, her small face was round and plump, her spirit bright and lively, a child who had been well looked after. In this palace, there were still people who remembered my elder sister's kindness and silently repaid that grace to her daughter. I thought that was the meaning of my elder sister's persistence and struggle. Mother Empress hopes that in the future, you will have both your mother's courage and your Mother Empress's good fortune. My good fortune is truly excellent. Joan had already harmed one empress. He could not let the second empress die so quickly as well. He still needed to maintain appearances, and that was the space for my survival. The next morning, I met Consort Lan. She arrived late, when everyone had nearly dispersed. She was dressed extravagantly, her whole person radiating brilliance. Seeing my simple attire, a flash of contempt and smugness crossed her eyes. She considered herself more beautiful than me, and thus deserving of all the favor. Naturally, she did not see me as a rival. But matters of the heart had never been reasonable. If reason truly mattered, Zhao Wan should have loved my elder sister to the end, since he had married her for that reason in the first place. Consort Lan performed a perfunctory greeting, smiling lazily as she said, "Last night, this consort served His Majesty too late. His Majesty specially permitted this consort to arrive a bit late. I hope the Empress, your ladyship, forgives me." She admired her red, dyed fingernails, the bright crimson color dazzling. I smiled and said it was fine, then ignored her. Instead, I inquired after all the other consorts and ladies. "Have you given birth?" Joan was truly prolific. He had a total of 17 children. I asked each one in turn, "How has the eldest princess been lately? Does she need this palace's help with anything? What about the second princess? Has the rash on her face improved? How about the fifth prince? Is he short on food or drink? Is the little 17th still crying and fussing? If there is anything, just report it to this palace. Do not hesitate." Everyone answered respectfully. Consort Lan's face grew paler and paler. It seemed only now that she realized besides me, among the many consorts and ladies, she was the one who had entered the palace the latest and had no children yet. Even if she gave birth later, there were already 17 children ahead. One day, those children would grow up and replace Zhao Wan. What would she do then? Her eyes reddened, hatred flashing briefly in her gaze as she glanced at me faintly. Then she anxiously placed her hand on her lower abdomen. Actually, among the images I had seen when touching Zhao Wan, There was one of Consort Lan pregnant. She would become pregnant and give birth to a prince. Zhao would dote extremely on that child. In fact, to pave the way for him, he would develop the intention to drive all the grown princes out of the capital. That was precisely what dissatisfied the third prince and ninth prince, leading them to join forces and kill Zhao. I hoped she would become pregnant soon. The period of pregnancy was when a person was at their weakest. I would take her life while she was ill. Consort Lan left in a rage. After returning, she went to complain to Zhao. The empress, your ladyship, knows this consort has no children yet, so she deliberately poked at my sore spot. Consort Lan omitted all her own arrogance and disrespectful words, speaking only of her own grievances. Zhao came to reprimand me. I know the harem is full of cruel tricks to torment others. You should not use those tricks on Leland. I raised my head and looked at him calmly. Your Majesty, this consort has never advised you to spread your favor evenly like rain and dew. But as empress, this consort will do her best to care for every consort and lady. Before entering the palace, each of them was a beloved daughter of her family. After entering, if they receive no favor from your Majesty and no care from this consort, their lives will stagnate like stagnant water, drained of all vitality. Your Majesty dotes solely on Consort Lan. That is your Majesty's business. This consort is merely fulfilling her duty and handling matters fairly. If your Majesty comes to make things difficult for this consort over a single word from Consort Lan, you might as well disband the harem, and give them all a path to survive, as well as give this consort a path to survive. That way I will not be punished by your Majesty just for saying one sentence to Consort Lan. Zhao stared at my face, momentarily dazed. I knew he would come, so I had deliberately instructed the palace maids to style my makeup to resemble my elder sister by 70%. He hated others mentioning my elder sister, so I would make him see this face more often, forcing him to remember his own heartlessness, coldness, and betrayal. Zhao snapped out of it, his eyes turning several degrees colder. I only said one sentence, yet you have so many principles and so much to lecture me about. If your Majesty had not come, there would naturally be no need for this consort to lecture you. This consort must even thank Consort Lan for making your Majesty come. I raised my eyes and looked at him silently, neither dodging nor avoiding. Zhao said nothing for a long time before finally speaking. You are bolder than your elder sister. The little sister has never feared her brother-in-law. I let out a soft sigh. Zhao froze, the corners of his eyes suddenly reddening. He turned and left, his steps hurried and somewhat flustered. I called him back. Brother-in-law, what is it? Zhao did not turn his head. His voice still tried to stay calm. But I could hear the bitterness in it. The third prince and the others have grown up. They need their father to teach them. This consort wants to bring them to see you more often in the future. First, to strengthen the father-son bond, and second, to let them develop a more manly spirit. When would it be convenient for you? Tomorrow afternoon. He practically fled. I watched his retreating figure, then turned around and let out a cold chuckle. The things he does not want to mention, I will make him remember forever. The things he does not want to face, I will force him to look at even more. His pain is my joy in this harem. The next morning during the greeting audience, Consort Lan did not come. Instead, she sent someone with a message. Last night I served His Majesty too late and my body is unwell. I immediately led the imperial physician to visit her personally. When Consort Lan saw my face, she froze too. Yesterday I had worn no makeup and simple clothes. Today I was exquisitely made up and dressed in magnificent attire. The younger version of my elder sister, her gaze toward me suddenly sharpened. Perhaps she had finally realized how foolish she had been. My elder sister was the familiar face Zhao had grown tired of, while I was the fresh novelty he had never possessed. Because of this similar face, the guilt he felt toward my elder sister might even transfer to me. She should not let Zhao see me too often. After the imperial physician finished taking her pulse, he smiled at Consort Lan. Congratulations, your ladyship, you are carrying the dragon hair. Consort Lan smiled with a trace of smugness. Thanks to the blessings of the empress, your ladyship. Yesterday you were still asking about hairs, and today this consort is already pregnant. It seems the empress is truly the goddess of mercy who bestows children. Why don't you hurry and pay your respects? My eyes turned serious. Consort Lan froze, then came back to her senses and bit her lip, her eyes full of resentment. I smiled faintly and said indifferently, to be honest, your pregnancy came at the perfect time. The consorts and ladies in the harem have gone without favor for too long. Now they can finally serve His Majesty. Consort Lan, you just focus on nurturing the child well. Do not worry about His Majesty. This palace will take care of him in your stead. Consort Lan exploded in fury, her voice suddenly rising. Songming, His Majesty promised me he would not touch anyone else besides me. You go ahead and make arrangements. If he really comes to sleep with them, consider it my loss. I, Li Lan, either want nothing or I want the best man in the world. I smiled brilliantly. Is that so? Back then His Majesty also promised my elder sister that they would grow old together with white hair and never betray each other. A man who breaks his word once will break it a second time. If you do not believe me, send someone this afternoon to invite His Majesty and see if you can get him to come to you. If you succeed in inviting him, this consort will stop arranging for anyone else to serve His Majesty. If you lose, you must kneel before my elder sister's memorial tablet and admit your fault. Haha, you can also go complain to His Majesty that I bullied you. I will gladly let His Majesty come to punish me again. I gave her a meaningful look, then left unhurriedly, bold and unrestrained. Consort Lan's gaze stayed glued to me. As if it could pierce straight through my body, I summoned all the mothers of the princes and princesses along with their palace servants. Each person received some rewards, and I personally prepared a 7-colored bracelet for each of them. Exorcism and blessing charms that I slipped onto their wrists myself. No one understood why, but they assumed I was bestowing grace and establishing authority, so they respectfully thanked me. My fingers brushed over each person in turn, and images flashed through my mind. Some were spies planted by Consort Lan in the various palaces, some were informants for the court ministers, some bullied the unfavored princes and princesses by relying on their own power, and some even colluded inside and outside the palace to traffic goods. After everyone left, I immediately recorded everything and ordered investigations to verify the details one by one. Before long, the entire harem was in turmoil, everyone uneasy. People did not understand why so many incidents had happened in such a short time, nor why so many had been arrested. Once those matters were handled, I immediately led the princes and princesses to see Zhao Wan. The grand hall was deathly silent. The officials kept their heads bowed, and the palace eunuchs held their breath. I stepped forward calmly and added, Your Majesty should still visit Consort Lan's palace to see for yourself. Perhaps Consort Lan truly has something she wishes to say. After all, Consort Lan is carrying the dragon hair. Even if she once planted spies in the palaces, she has not yet caused any major disaster. Consider balancing merits and faults. Consort Lan had just lost face in front of me, so my words were like pouring oil on fire. She flew into a rage. Shut your mouth. Who needs your fake kindness? The court officials raised their heads in shock and looked at Consort Lan. They had known she was arrogant, but hearing about it and witnessing it were two different things. The moment she finished speaking, Consort Lan already regretted it. She bit her lip, tears welling in her eyes as she looked at Zhao Wan. Zhao Wan lowered his gaze slightly, his fingers curling. In a cold voice he ordered. Consort Lan is immediately confined to her palace, and without a decree she is not allowed to leave. Consort Lan was shocked, taking a step back and nearly falling to the ground. I quickly stepped forward to support her. Nothing must happen at this critical moment. If the dragon hair was lost, Zhao Wan would only feel guiltier and go lighter on her crimes. For now, she absolutely had to stay healthy. Healthy enough to receive her punishment and then slowly waste away. Zhao Wan paused, extending his hand as if to support her, but then withdrew it. Consort Lan was held tightly and escorted back. Unwilling to accept it, she called out Zhao Wan's name, tears streaming down her face. Zhao Wan's shoulders trembled slightly, his suppressed emotions reaching their limit. Once everyone had dispersed, he entered the rear hall, seemingly wanting to vent all his anger on me. However, as soon as he stepped inside, he was surrounded by several princes and princesses. Father Emperor, you are amazing. This child wants to be like you in the future, eliminating evil. Father Emperor, thank you. You finally punished Nanny Lai. Relying on her status as my nanny, she bullied me for not having a mother, beating and scolding me all day long. This child never dared to speak up. Thank you for saving me. Father Emperor, you are so capable. Father Emperor, Father Emperor. The adoration of children is sincere and fervent. Zhao Wan's anger gradually dissipated, and he looked at me with a complex gaze. Today I looked 70% like my elder sister. He was not foolish, he could distinguish between me and her. My elder sister's eyes looking at him had been full of love, while my eyes held only calm detachment. In that momentary silence, the 13th princess hugged Jawan's leg and said happily, "Father Emperor." In Mother's bedchamber, there wasn't just that evidence, there are also letters Mother wrote to you, so thick, so long. Her small hands even gestured the thickness, the sincerity of a child, making it all the more touching. Jawan stiffened. He bent down to pick up the 13th princess, his eyes slightly red. "How did you know?" The 13th princess counted on her fingers. "This child saw you and Mother arguing because Consort Lan fell. Mother wrote a letter. Later, during the hunt, Consort Lan's horse was poisoned to death. Mother wrote another letter. Consort Lan broke out in spots, and you came looking for Mother. Mother cried and wrote another letter." Jawan's expression grew increasingly ugly, his hands trembling so much he could barely hold the 13th princess. He set her down and shouted coldly, "Say no more." Frightened to tears, the 13th princess hurriedly threw herself into my arms, burying her small head in my shoulder, yet unable to resist stealing glances at Jawan's face. My mood was very complex. I had only taught the 13th princess to say the first sentence, the rest were her own words. She had seen her mother's suffering and was seeking justice on her behalf. Truly a good child. I picked her up and looked toward Jawan. "Your Majesty, today the princes and princesses are all here. Among them, several possess great natural talent. I hope your Majesty observes clearly." I pointed toward the 3rd prince, the 9th prince, and several other outstanding princes and princesses, then bowed and led them away. Jawan opened his mouth as if to say something, but I ignored him. I didn't want to bear his anger, nor did I want to hear his confessions. He had brought all of this upon himself. Having lost the woman who loved him most in the world, he had to suffer the agony of having no one to confide in. I only needed to do my job well, ensuring everything closed with a perfect ending. After sending away the princes and princesses who still had mothers, I personally escorted the motherless ones back. Reaching the 3rd prince's place, I stopped and asked him calmly, "Why do you hate me?" The 3rd prince froze. He was still young and could not hide his thoughts. He was clearly somewhat panicked. "This son does not hate Mother Empress." "Then let me ask again, why do you hate the original Empress? Why do you hate my elder sister?" The gazes of the 9th prince, the 13th princess, and myself all fixed upon him. The 3rd prince couldn't bear it and suddenly gave up. He violently flung his sleeves. "Shouldn't I hate her? She caused my mother consort's death, and my maternal grandfather's entire family was confiscated. Why can't I hate?" A young child, yet his heart was full of fiery rage, glaring resentfully at the 13th princess. No wonder when I first met him, I found him exceptionally calm, showing no joy at being adopted, nor any attachment. Only resistance, distance, and hidden ambition. No wonder in his future, he would exterminate my family and stab me and little Jade to death. I said, "Your maternal grandfather embezzled public funds and seized land, causing tens of thousands of commoners to be displaced. The imperial edict confiscating his estate was drafted by your father Emperor. Upon hearing the news, your mother consort, fearing His Majesty would redirect his anger toward you, committed suicide out of fear of punishment. First, His Majesty did the right thing. As a ruler, he must protect the commoners. Water can bear a boat, but it can also capsize it. He was not wrong. Second, even if he were wrong, you do not dare to hate the one truly in power, only daring to hate the innocent. You are a coward. The wicked nanny left behind by your mother consort bullied you, and it was the original Empress who left the evidence to save you. You don't dare rebel against those who harm you, yet you fail to distinguish right from wrong. You are truly muddle-headed. You do not deserve my help today." I led the others away. The 9th prince sighed and patted the 3rd prince's shoulder. The 3rd prince slapped his hand away, looking down at the ground as tears fell drop by drop. The 13th princess said angrily, "Before, when I saw you getting bullied, I even gave you candy. Give my candy back." She chased after me, her steps carrying fiery anger too. The 9th prince quickly walked beside me, lifting his small face. His bright eyes looked at me full of adoration, his expression overflowing with attachment. "Mother Empress, in the future this son will absolutely not be like 3rd brother. This son will definitely be filial to you, and when I grow up, I will provide for you." Remembering the future vision where he imprisoned me in the palace, calling me Mother Empress over and over while burying his head in my chest again and again, a cold shiver ran down my spine. He had even sent the 13th princess off for a political marriage. My dynasty could absolutely not have an emperor so useless that he had to send a princess away for marriage. I ignored him. After bringing him inside, I turned to leave. Just as I rounded the corner, I suddenly doubled back, standing right outside his palace doors. Through the crack in the door, I saw his wet nurse grab his head and press it into her chest, laughing joyfully as she kissed his forehead hard. As my little ninth back. Let me see if you were scared. Did anyone outside bully our little ninth? The milk is ready, hurry and drink it. The ninth prince's face was full of resistance. I am grown up. I won't drink it. The wet nurse laughed. Be good, drinking it is good for you. Or I can feed it to you, that's fine too. After all, I raised you. In the future, you have to drink my milk until you're 12. The ninth prince blushed, wanting to struggle free, but was held tightly by the woman, unable to escape her embrace. The wet nurse giggled. Oh my son, her tone full of teasing. I pushed the palace doors open and walked in. Her laughter stopped instantly. I raised my eyes, staring coldly at the wet nurse. Today, I had put a bracelet on her, and I had seen her future. She was granted death by me. Yet, after the ninth prince grew up, he never forgot her. The first sentence he said when he imprisoned me in the palace was, "You killed my mother, so you must return another mother to me." I lightly raised my hand, and someone immediately stepped forward to seize the wet nurse. Terrified, she knelt down and begged for her life. The ninth prince opened his mouth to plead for her, but I cut him off. I will not kill her. I will send her out of the palace. She is not suited to stay here. Her life or death in the future will be decided by you. There will come a day when you grow up and understand what happened today. When that time comes, whether she lives or dies is your choice. The wet nurse was dragged away, struggling fiercely, her eyes fixed on the ninth prince. Tears welled up in the ninth prince's eyes, but in the end, he said nothing. I had someone thoroughly report today's two incidents to Zhao Wan. Very late that night, Zhao Wan appeared in my bedchamber. A pitch-black figure suddenly appearing gave me a start. I was still drowsy with sleep, but I had to sit up, intending to light a candle. Zhao Wan spoke, his voice exhausted and desolate. Do not light the candles. Leave it like this. I want to talk to you. Am I not a competent father? I decisively lay back down on the bed, dead tired, yet I still had to listen to him talk. It was truly irritating. He probably wanted my comfort, but I didn't open my mouth. He was indeed not a good father, nor had he come seeking my approval. He just wanted to pour out his feelings. In this vast imperial palace, he had long discarded everyone like worn-out shoes. Others only felt awe and fear toward him. There was no one suitable to confide in. He should have gone to find Consort Lan, but she was confined, and she had already shattered his perception of her. He had also just returned from my elder sister's bedchamber and must have found the letters little Jade mentioned. Right now, his mind was full of past memories between him and my elder sister. Unexpectedly, I had become the most suitable person for him to bare his soul to. He rambled on, telling me his thoughts. After my elder sister died, he had actually regretted it. For a short time, he even resented Consort Lan and wanted to scold and beat her to vent his anger. But when he saw her bewildered face waiting for him outside the hall, and her joyful expression upon opening her eyes after being startled by him, that hatred gradually faded. He thought he could not lose another person who truly loved him right after losing his elder sister. He flipped through my elder sister's letters, and scenes of the past surfaced. Only then did he realize with a shock how deeply he had betrayed her. Consort Lan was not what he had imagined either. His favoritism had placed the woman he loved over a roasting fire. All his regrets came too late. The person was gone, and he no longer had the chance to utter words of repentance. After finishing, he waited silently for me to speak. Perhaps he thought I would be moved. For an emperor, such a sincere confession ought to earn the world's highest forgiveness. He should be grandly welcomed back to the realm of the innocent. But why should he not go down to the underworld to apologize to the dead, instead of repenting before the living? Yet I figured if I didn't say anything, he would continue disturbing my rest. I gave a perfunctory reply. Your Majesty, this consort often wonders why humans have skin. Why? Under the moonlight, Zhou Wan looked up, seemingly a bit intrigued. Then this consort figured it out. Skin is a boundary. Because of skin, we aren't fused with others. We are complete individuals, I am me. But also because of skin, we can never truly merge with another person. The boundaries are always clear, and true integration is impossible. Just like two trees growing side by side, their leaves still have gaps in the air. Humans are born lonely, let alone an emperor. You must get used to it. Get used to the fact that you will never have a soulmate to listen to your innermost thoughts. Zhou Wan left, perhaps angered by the phrase, "You must get used to it." He stopped coming to my palace, nor did he seek out Consort Lan. Consort Lan rapidly lost weight. I led the imperial physician to force her to fulfill her promise, to kneel before my elder sister's tablet, and admit her fault. Consort Lan was brought to my elder sister's bedchamber. Heavily pregnant, the moment she was released, she fiercely slapped the face of the accompanying nanny, then immediately glared at me, her voice sharp and cold. "Song Ming, how dare you? His Majesty is merely angry with me, he has never despised me. Once I regain his favor, you will certainly face retribution. Besides, I am carrying the dragon hair. Do you dare harm the dragon hair? Even your elder sister didn't dare treat me this way back then. What the hell are you?" I respectfully stood before my elder sister's memorial tablet, clasping my hands to offer incense. Because my elder sister was benevolent, she tried to reason with her. My elder sister also had weaknesses, she didn't dare anger His Majesty, fearing it would implicate our parents and me. A woman with such high moral standards and far-reaching vision ultimately had to swallow her pride and compromise. But I was different. I had no weaknesses, because entering the palace had been my own choice. My parents had also prepared themselves mentally. If I died, the fish would die and the net would break. They would rally the officials to eliminate the demon consort and restore righteousness. I wasn't afraid. She had underestimated my elder sister, and she underestimated me too. I looked straight at her and said calmly, "Why do you hate my elder sister so much? When you first entered the palace, my elder sister was very gentle toward you and never mistreated you." Consort Lan sneered. "So what? Who says kind people get to live peacefully to old age? There is so much injustice in this world. Do you know what the harem is like for us? Our group of over 50 selected maidens passed through cities, and the local officials held back several. On the road, passing bandit lairs, we lost a few more. Encountering assassins midway, several more were killed. Upon reaching the capital, a few were sent to officials' estates. Only after entering the palace did I learn that His Majesty originally selected only 10 maidens from our region. The other 40 were meant to be sacrificed along the way. Whoever survived to reach the capital was a noble lady. I survived and understood a truth: a person must climb up. Only by climbing to the top can one decide the fates of others. I do not want my fate decided by others anymore. His Majesty liked me and gave me a chance. If I didn't seize the momentum and climb, I would be a fool. So what if your elder sister was kind? Just because both she and I had the character Lan in our names. Even though they were different characters. Someone reminded me I should change my name. I deliberately didn't change it. Not only did I not change it, but I purposely became Consort Lan. I wanted everyone in this world to know that the one whose name should be tabooed is Song Lan Jun, your elder sister, Song Lan Jun. When Lan was granted the title Consort Lan, I had found it strange. No matter what, the Imperial Household Department shouldn't have chosen the character Lan as her title. It turned out she had requested it herself. Even her title was deliberately meant to disgust my elder sister. I said coldly, "Avoiding the name of a respected superior is a moral and ethical principle, everywhere. It wasn't just aimed at you." "So what? The winner is the one who gets the final say." Consort Lan held her head high, full of arrogance. I looked out the door and said calmly, "Your Majesty, is that so? The winner is the one who gets the final say. This consort won the bet with Consort Lan. Can I make her kneel before my elder sister's tablet and admit her fault?" I flung the bedchamber doors open. Zhou Wan stood silently on the steps. He had already been disappointed in Consort Lan once. By not seeing her these past few days, he was actually trying to convince himself over and over again. Today, when I went to arrest Consort Lan, I purposely had someone notify him. Anxious to save her, he had rushed over, only to hear those words. His cold eyes stared at Consort Lan. Consort Lan's expression was incredibly complex: anxiety, shock, regret, resentment. All sorts of emotions flashed across her pale, emaciated face, making for a spectacular sight. Her voice grew hoarse. "Your Majesty," Zhou Wan said indifferently, "apologized to the original empress." Tears fell from the corners of Consort Lan's eyes. "Your Majesty, you said you would always protect me. Apologize." Zhou Wan's voice grew heavier, carrying traces of disgust and ruthlessness. I grabbed Consort Lan's hair and forcefully forced her to her knees before my elder sister's tablet. Following the momentum, I shoved her head down, smashing it hard against the floor with a dull thud. Forced to bend over, she instinctively cried out to protect her stomach. "My child, Wan, finally anxious, stepped inside. Seizing the moment, I leaned close to Consort Lan's ear and chuckled in a low whisper. Forgot to tell you. His Majesty has already issued an edict to confiscate your family's estate. Your father was granted death for embezzlement, your mother was buried with him, and the others were all exiled. Because he was worried about your pregnancy, he hadn't told you yet. Now that you know, remember to thank me. Consort Lan suddenly struggled, lifting her head to look at Wan with eyes full of disbelief. Wan walked over, intending to help her up. I stuffed a dagger into Consort Lan's hand, grabbed her hand following her momentum, and viciously stabbed it into Wan's abdomen. Astonished, Wan hunched over, clutching his stomach, looking in disbelief at my hand and Consort Lan's hand gripping it tightly together. Consort Lan was terrified into screaming, but I still gripped her hand firmly. As she struggled, I twisted the dagger hard, pulled it out, and stabbed it into Wan's chest again. Her ear-piercing scream scattered the birds. Wan collapsed, his eyes staring blankly at me, then at my elder sister's memorial tablet. Unwilling to accept it, he closed his eyes, a single tear falling from the corner of his eye. Consort Lan was still screaming. I viciously slapped her face. Looking at her clutching her cheek, her entire body trembling, I smiled faintly and said, "Everything I just said was a lie to you. His Majesty hadn't issued an edict to confiscate your estate. But I will issue the edict. I will let you see with your own eyes your parents paying the price for your mistakes." I knocked over a vase, picked up a shard, and under Consort Lan's terrified gaze, slashed the porcelain piece directly across her face, slicing open half of her face and cutting off a piece of her tongue. Consort Lan, one hand holding her face and the other her stomach, rolled on the floor, writhing like a maggot. Fresh blood continuously gushed from her body, mixing with Wan's blood, rising as if to atone to my elder sister. "Men, Consort Lan has assassinated His Majesty, come quickly," I screamed in panic. When everyone rushed in, what they saw was me clutching a porcelain shard, huddled in a corner in sheer terror. Consort Lan fainted, and Wan was dead. The Ministry of Justice, the Court of Judicature and Revision, and the Imperial Clan Court only found Consort Lan's fingerprints on the dagger dropped on the floor. She had 3 arches and 2 whorls, while both my hands had 10 whorls. Wan was buried. Consort Lan was sentenced to death, but I spared her life, locking her in the cold palace. Then, I issued an edict to confiscate her entire family's estate. Because her father had supported her grand scheme to seize power, his hands had not been clean these past few years. He had amassed a lot of money and sent it into the palace. Otherwise, relying merely on a palace stipend, where would the money come from to buy people's loyalty? There was plenty of time. I would let her see with her own eyes. The wealth and power she single-mindedly pursued were ultimately just illusions, and she would have to spend her entire life atoning for her sins. According to the principle of establishing the eldest, the court wanted to make the third prince emperor. Using the excuse that his maternal family had committed crimes, I firmly refused. However, I allowed the third prince to enter the Ministry of Justice. The first thing he needed to clarify was why his maternal family had been convicted, rather than resenting heaven and blaming others, thinking the whole world had betrayed him. Everyone then chose the 9th prince. I refused, citing the excuse that his mother's family was weak, and he himself had not yet displayed clear capabilities. Finally, I proposed to govern from behind the curtain myself, selecting a few princes and princesses to attend court together. Whoever proved themselves capable through training would be chosen as emperor. Everyone was surprised, but ultimately felt this was not a bad idea either. I began a life of leading the children to attend court and listen to state affairs. The third prince remained sullen but gradually let go, having understood how arrogant and oppressive his maternal family had been toward the commoners. His final bits of resentment finally dissipated. As the 9th prince grew up, coming into contact with the outside world and understanding the ways of the world, he finally realized how disgusting his wet nurse's treatment of him back then had been. He ordered someone to chop off both of the wet nurse's arms, so she could no longer casually force people into her chest. After she was treated, he spared her life and sent her to the border to be detained. He had drunk her milk, so he would provide for her for a lifetime, but that was all it would be. Later on, as the children grew older, the third prince grew tired of court politics and voluntarily left for his fief to marry and have children. The 9th prince did not marry, stating plainly that he would not have children with anyone. In the end, only the 13th princess was left. Proficient in both literature and martial arts, with a heroic and valiant bearing, she had long matured like a female eagle. The court officials had grown accustomed to the 13th princess appearing at court, and so, half pushing and half yielding, they supported her ascending the throne as emperor. The day she took the throne, I left the capital. Little Jade saw me off outside the pass. Ahead lay the vast rivers and mountains outside the capital. The cold wind, tough grass, and rolling landscape filled one with soaring ambition. Little Jade raised her voice. Aunt, help me go see these beautiful rivers and mountains. I will wait in the capital for your return. I waved at her, spurred my horse, and rode toward the future. Hold your empire steady, and wait for me. My long hair fluttered wildly, the wind blowing it about. This year Jiangnan is selecting a batch of male beauties to enter the palace. I want to go see if the situation where 10 enter but 40 are tragically sacrificed still exists. This is the first injustice I want to handle. In the future, I will level every injustice one by one, sweeping away the chaos and turbidity of the mortal realm, leaving only pure peace for humanity. Jiangnan, here I come. The story ends here for now. If it touched your heart or left you thinking, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please like,